Good morning and good morrow to thee, my loyal subjects. My name is MiAh the King, and if you're wondering why I haven't posted a video in several weeks, well, here are two great reasons why. The first is that it was Christmas and New Year's, obviously, all the stuff that comes along with that, and vacation, spending time with the family, yada yada. And my wife also starting a brand new job. There were also no real good or impressive or interesting, at least to me, video games being released that I wanted to take a look at. And of course, all the struggles with every one of those things just kind of made it almost impossible for me to be able to focus and put out content like this. But if that wasn't enough, my family and myself were all diagnosed with the new COVID-19, the Omicron one, the super infectious one. Also, my grandma died, and my family had to put down a family dog of over 15 years, and my mom is recovering from breast cancer. All of that happening in the past month. But don't worry, so far we're fine and recovering, but still things were super hectic, and well, regardless, I'm back now and ready to start pumping out the content again. So thank you for being patient, and thank you for the well wishes, and let's get to it. So today we're taking a look at a game called Slow Living with Princess, a small game in early access on Steam, developed by Kadokawa and Sukurite, and published by Zero Up Games. Now, tell me if this sounds at all similar to something else. Gideon Ragnarsson was banished from Rudy's party because he was not strong enough. Since then, he has retired from the front lines of battle and changed his name to Red. Now he has opened an apothecary in the frontier land of Zoltan, and hopes to live a slow and happy life there. If that sounds like a little-known anime or manga called Banished from the Hero's Party, I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside, then you would be correct. This is a game created with permission from the original source material creator, and it's a game that basically follows that world. Now, I don't know much about that kind of stuff, or how it works, so we're not really going to focus on that. Instead, we're going to focus on this video game, which I do know more about. By the way, I want to go on record as saying I'm a huge fan of the anime, and it's probably one of my favorites, if not my all-time favorite anime. Why? Because it literally has everything. But I'm not going to go into that, because that's neither here nor there. You want to talk about that, we'll talk about that in the comments. This game, however, let's take a look at it. Sorry this intro has been really long, per usual, but I had a lot of stuff I just needed to say before I could press forward. But now we can finally move in. Sorry it took 2.5 minutes. Now, some of you out there might be asking why I'm taking a look at a game that came out months ago. It's not my usual MO. But the reason is because it's in early access, and because not a lot of people talk about this game. I haven't seen a whole lot out there on it, so I wanted to do a video on it. Doesn't get a lot of attention, and sometimes those are the games that I pick out if they look promising to me. But now we gotta find out if it was worth it or not, and if this video is worth it or not. So first up, as always, we're going to go over the good and the bad, and today we're starting off with the bad because it was the very first thing that stuck out to me, as it goes. Number one for the negatives was the art style. Now, I have no idea if it looks similar to the manga, I have no idea if it's drawn that way on purpose, but it looks and just feels off. Watching your character Red run around also looks really awkward. The art style feels just a bit childish, even though these are all supposed to be adults. There's not enough attention to detail, but not enough bright colors to make it cutesy or cartoony. It's just weird. It looks hand-drawn, and it probably is, and I'm not exactly saying it's bad, just saying it looks and feels off to me. I wasn't impressed. Number two, the sound effects and the music. The music is pleasant, but boring. The sound effects are average and barely interesting or unique enough to draw any positive attention towards them. Plus, there's no voice acting, and there's very little ambiance, if any. I mean, powerful music can draw people in, it can create a mood, a tone, it can set everything up. But, I mean, maybe they were just going the route of relaxing, which I suppose in a way it is, but it's mostly forgettable, as are the sound effects. Number three, the game is basically just kind of boring overall. I mean, honestly, with this game, it's pretty much, hey, have you ever played a farming simulator game before? Then here you go again, and that's about it. Sorry about any noise you might hear in the background. In this past month, along with all the other crazy stuff that happened, we also got a brand new puppy who's not potty trained and has worms. So yeah, busy month, and she's the noise in the background you might hear. Now, they do have a unique, interesting mechanic of running your store in this game, but even then, when your store is open, all you do really is just kind of stand there and watch as people come and go, buying or not buying things. There's really not a lot to do besides sitting there, and since it's the primary source of income and the main focus of the game, it sucks that it's such a boring wait-around kind of process. I mean, don't get me wrong, it probably won't be boring to some people out there, but I've played so many darn farming simulator games like this that I'm looking for the fun, addictive, unique aspect, or the fun gameplay aspect, or the choices aspect, or just, anything. But you can't choose your name, obviously. You can't choose your appearance, obviously. You can't choose your love interest. You can't choose the style of your home. You can't choose which type of product you wish to produce. You can't choose anything other than what you're selling on that particular day and what skills you're leveling up as you progress throughout the world. I know it's supposed to be following a story, and that's why you can't make any of those choices, but I still feel like if this game wants to be bigger and more popular, then they need to play a bunch of other farming simulator games, like My Time at Portia or Stardew Valley, and then give us something that those two games don't give us. You know, you could go any way with something like this, and you got to follow a story. That's fine, follow the story because it's based on the source material. I understand that, but you could still introduce mechanics to the game that haven't been introduced in other games, and that might just be big enough to draw in a fan base that would spread the love of your game. But those are really the only negatives that I have, and yes, those 3 negatives are pretty big ones, and I'm not too sure that the positives are going to be good enough to make up for those negatives. But don't worry, I've got some final thoughts on this whole thing, so don't judge me or this video too prematurely. Speaking of judging me in this video, if you find yourself being entertained or adequately informed, I would greatly appreciate you showing me a bit of your support. It costs you only a few moments, barely a minute, and in return you could change my channel and my life exponentially. Please do me a favor and leave a like, a comment, hit that subscribe button, or share my video. Thank you so much. And now we get to go on to the positives. Number 1, I love the story and I love the idea. I love the world and I love the source material. I love the characters and I love the romance, and I just generally love everything around the idea of this game. You are playing as a guy who decided to retire early. He settles down, opens up his dream shop, falls in love, and just lives a relaxing life. And it has a whole story and lore and world built around it, so it doesn't feel random or like strangers to you. So unlike all those other farming-based games that maybe only kind of have a story, this one has a legit story while also letting you be a farmer/pharmacist. So while you are doing your daily grind and grabbing new stuff and doing new stuff, you also have fun incidents, fun characters, cool events, and it's all just really relaxing and heartwarming, which is kind of the point of this game. I do wish the character interactions were more fun and a bit more frequent, but it's still fairly nice overall, and I'm still fairly early in the game, so it's very possible those are deeper in. Number 2, the price. For an early access game like this, of this quality, the price tag is perfect. It might be a bit underpriced, actually. I mean, it's only $12 to buy this, but I'm never going to complain about a game costing less than I think it should. I mean, with this level of quality in early access, it's an appropriate price tag for sure, and that alone should get you thinking about checking it out. It means at the very least they know how much their game is worth currently. And that's always a good sign from developers. Number 3, the tutorial. Now, I wish more games would do tutorials like this. They need to take a page out of these guys' development book. This game has a pretty woman walk you around and teach you all of the things you need to know as you're doing them and getting set up for the first time. And it's all a part of the story, the gameplay, and it works with the flow, the way most tutorials should be done, and it really helped me to understand and just get into the flow of events here in this game. Once again, sorry about the barking you might hear in the background. Again, that's my puppy barking at the mailman because I'm doing this fairly early in the day. Anyway, number 4, the potential. This is a small point, and I won't spend a lot of time here, but the potential for this game to be a special gem is very high, and I really hope it happens. Slightly better graphics, better optimization, some goofy, energetic voice acting, and more customization and choices, more interactions, more events. I mean, if they were to include all these things, it could make this game on par with My Time at Portia or Stardew Valley or some of the other legends out there like Harvest Moon. I mean, the potential of all they could include here and introduce here is vast, and I kind of hope that they really do. But currently, it doesn't even stand up to those ones, so I want you to keep that in mind as we're progressing forward. So, that's all I gotta say in terms of the pros and the cons. So, what are my final thoughts? Well, I was looking up stuff about this game, and do you know what I saw? I saw fans of the light novel, and the manga, and the anime all talking about the game. At least the serious reviews that I saw, the ones that I would actually read and try to make an opinion of whether I should buy the game or not. Then you had a bunch of people just randomly saying it was awesome without talking about specifics and just saying, I like game. Then you got people who probably didn't view any of the 3 different types of source material talking about how badly implemented and developed the game was. And I don't know what to say. I mean, on the one hand, I loved the anime, so I'd probably love the light novel and the manga, and therefore I'd kind of love this game. But if I take a step back and look at this game subjectively, and try to compare it based on all my experience, well, honestly, the game is severely lacking. I know I'm going to get hate for this, but let me point out that I don't hate the game. I'm not going to be getting a refund, and I am enjoying myself playing it. But not because it's a great game, but because of what it's based on, because of what I know is coming, because of, the idea of it. In some ways, the game has great potential and offers some interesting ideas, but in some ways, it's very lazy and not doing enough. And I guess it all comes down to personal preference. I mean, it's very laid back, very casual, kind of lazy in both the gameplay and the development, which in a weird way fits the theme of the original content. So if you're looking for next generation, outside the box thinking badass kind of game, well, keep looking, because this game is going to, probably never going to be that ever. But if you enjoyed the original source material, and if you don't mind a slow game that's just casual farming, then I think you'll get a kick out of this. I mean, I intend to keep playing it while I'm doing something else, like watching TV or whatever, you know? This is one of the ways that I like to relax. So, is this game for you? Well, with its low price, I'd recommend everyone at least give it a look at, you know? Especially if you're into farming simulator types of games. And even if you're not into anime type games and you're just into simulator or casual games, you could still try to check this out, you know? It's actually a good gateway into getting into farming simulator games like this. You know, if you like this one, you'll probably like a bunch of other ones, so if you weren't sure, maybe start with this one because of that price tag. But if so far you haven't really liked what you've seen or heard, and if it looks boring and sounds boring to you, then, you know, you're going to want to pass on it because it's not going to be much better when you're playing it. It's not groundbreaking, and it's not worth exploring a new genre for. I mean, if you were already thinking about exploring the new genre, and you're kind of looking to ease your way into it, this is a good one. But otherwise, if you're not looking to just jump into this, I definitely wouldn't start here. So, honestly, that's all I got. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.